Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Potty Plant Entertainment. My name is Chris, and in case you don't know, I review movies and rank them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Today, or tonight, I should say, tonight for me, we are going to be reviewing Ghostbusters Afterlife. This got announced a while ago, and I was always super skeptical about it. I even uploaded a video to my channel where I was talking about all the concerns that I had for this movie. And I know the dislike button is gone since then, but that video got more dislikes than it did likes, which is fine. But if you want to watch that video, I'll leave a link in the description. But I want to talk about the movie and what I think about it. Now, before I do, I will tell you the first Ghostbusters. I have reviewed that movie on my channel. I'll leave a link to that video in the description as well. But I argue, I always will argue, and I will physically fight you about this. No, I'm blind. But I will argue that Ghostbusters is the greatest comedy ever made. I think it's better than The Big Lebowski. I really, really do. I mean that, and I will argue with you about that. And I really like Ghostbusters 2. It's not phenomenal or anything, but I really enjoy it. And then when this movie got announced, and, you know, I know, like, they released, like, that quick teaser where you just saw the Ghostbusters logo on the car, right, in the barn, and then we learned more about it, and then the trailer came out, and I saw that it was a movie about preteens, and I was like, okay, I don't know how I feel about that. Like I thought this would be about, you know, the Ghostbusters. I mean, it's called Ghostbusters. Wouldn't the main characters be Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson? I mean, that just seems like such an odd choice to make a Ghostbusters movie about preteens. But they did it. This is a thing that exists. And I gotta say, I actually liked it. I did not love it. I don't think it comes anywhere close to the heights of Ghostbusters. But I did enjoy this movie. So let's talk about it. So, Ghostbusters stars Carrie Coon, Paul Rudd, Finn Wolfhard, McKenna Grace, Logan Kim, and Celeste O'Connor. It was directed by Jason Reitman, who is the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the original, who also helped produce this movie. But I didn't list him here because he wasn't an executive producer. Dan Aykroyd, Michael Byung, Jason Blunenfeld, Jason Cloth, Aaron L. Gilbert, Amy Karp, Gil Keenan, and Joe Medjuk, and Tom Pollock. And this movie tells the story of the daughter and the grandchildren of Harold Ramis. Now, he has, in case you for some reason don't know, he passed away in 2014, rest his soul. So his character obviously couldn't be in this movie. So he's passed away, and his daughter and his grandchildren inherit this old house from this plot of land from him, and they go through his stuff and they start discovering things. The grandchildren don't know that he was a Ghostbuster. We as an audience do, but they don't. And so they start discovering things about him, and they start learning more about what happened back in '84 when the original came out. And ghosts start showing up, and in this little town this secluded little town, and they discover all of his Ghostbusters tech, and they say, hey, we're going to get the ghost. So, and uncover this big mystery that's going on in their town. So I've already talked about my thoughts about all this, so I'm just going to jump straight into my pros and cons. For one thing, the fan service wasn't really overdone. Like, if you saw... Hold on a minute. Where is it? I swear it's here. Just give me a second. 2 seconds. I will find it. Okay, I moved it. But Dr. Sleep. If you saw that movie, I hate that movie. I thought that was really bad. And at the end of the movie, the fan service is so overdone. I hate that movie. But this movie doesn't do that. It actually utilizes fan service appropriately, and I appreciate that very much. It does not overdo it at all. The movie doesn't insult the other two as well, which I really appreciated. This is a very respectable follow-up. Again, it doesn't come anywhere close to the original. I don't want... I know this movie's been out for a couple weeks, but if you for some reason haven't gone to see the movie, do not go into this with the expectations that it's going to be as good as the original. Don't even go into it with the expectations that it's going to be as good as the second one. I think it seems to me like most people like it better than they like the second one. I personally slightly prefer the second one to this just because the Ghostbusters are the main cast. But, yeah, don't expect the original. It's not that good. But it is a very respectable follow-up to it. The special effects are really good. All the CGI is good. And it even has some practical effects in it, which surprised me greatly. And I appreciated that very much, that they actually took the time to do that. So the daughter, there's a son and a daughter, Harold Ramis's grandkids, and there's an older brother and a younger sister. She is very socially awkward. She's very smart, and almost to the point where it's kind of cartoony, but that's just kind of a nitpick. But she's very smart and she's socially awkward. And so throughout the movie, she's telling people dad jokes to try and relate to them, and they're actually pretty funny. I gotta give it to her. They were actually, and I'm a type of person who appreciates like really stupid humor, so I like that. It's a really well directed film. The ghost chasing sequence that you see in the trailer is super well done. It's really, really good. And then I have one more pro for this movie, but I'm going to save it for the end because it's a major spoiler. I'm going to give my rating, and then I'm going to talk about the ending of this movie. But before I do, you may have noticed this. I just want to say I can't find all my Christmas decorations from last year, so I'm going to have to buy new ones, but I did find this. So it's just a sad, pathetic candy cane in the background, just in case you noticed it and were wondering why it was there. Yeah, and Christmas review is coming soon, by the way. All right, so let's get into my cons, because I do have quite a few. So, no spoilers, but basically there's this wall with years of ghost occurrences. That's all I'm going to say. I won't say anything else. But one of them is 1984. But 1989 from Ghostbusters 2 isn't on there. What's up with that? So Ray gets this call from the granddaughter, Harold Ramis's granddaughter. She's been arrested. I won't say why, but she's in jail, and she calls him. And he doesn't know who he's talking to, but she starts asking him these questions about the Ghostbusters. And he starts telling her about their falling out and where they all are now. But she hasn't told him yet that she's the granddaughter. That she's Egon Spengler's granddaughter. Ooh, by the way, I have an action figure up right here. And I just found it super weird how he was just telling her all this personal stuff, even though she hadn't introduced herself on the phone. I thought that was really weird. I guess you consider that a minor spoiler. I don't, which is why I included it. Now, Paul Rudd plays a summer school teacher in this movie, and he's talking to the granddaughter. I can't remember any of the new characters' names. He's talking to her, and then he's talking to her new friend, whose name is Podcast. I remember him. I remember his name. And he's like, y'all don't know what happened in 1984? Y'all don't know about the whole New York ghost attack? They're like, no. And then Finn Wolfhard's character knows about it, but he thinks it was just a myth. Like, is this not, like, in history textbooks and stuff? I mean, first of all, how would they not know about this? How would anyone not know about this? Even if you're a kid, okay? Like, when I was a kid, I knew what, like, major historical events were, like the Holocaust and 9/11 and all those sorts of things. I knew what those were, so even as a kid, I would know about this, right? And even Finn Wolfhard knows about it. Why would he think it's fake? Who told him it's fake? That doesn't make any sense. It's like in the Force Awakens when Rey was like, Luke Skywalker? I thought he was just a myth. Why? Who told you that? All right, anyway. So Finn Wolfhard's character in this movie, I found at least to be completely pointless. I noticed watching the movie that he could have been removed and it pretty much would have been the same movie. Also, this movie doesn't really feel like Ghostbusters to me. It feels a lot more like Stranger Things. Yeah. And also, and this isn't a spoiler because it was in the trailers, but the mini Marshmallow Men at the Walmart, yeah, that's in the movie, obviously. But the movie doesn't make any attempt to explain them. They're just sort of like these marshmallows, right? And they come to life, right? They turn into the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You see it in the trailer. But the movie never explains how this happens. And so it just feels like this weird fan service moment. Yeah. But don't get me wrong. I mean, those are flaws that this movie has. This is far from a perfect film, but I did enjoy it. It's not one that I would rewatch a lot. I mean, I watched the first Ghostbusters bare minimum once a year, and I watched the second one sometimes. I like it. This is one I would revisit even less often than Ghostbusters 2, but I don't dislike this movie. I actually thought it was pretty good. With all that being said, no, wait a minute, I got one more. And this movie, last of all, just should have been about the original cast. It just should have. That was my opinion when the trailer came out. That's my opinion now. This should have been about the Ghostbusters. I stand by that opinion. I do. A lot of people don't like it. I stand by it. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Ghostbusters Afterlife an 80. All right, so I told you I did have one more pro. I dropped it. I do have one more pro, but this is a major spoiler, which is why I saved it for after my race. So you haven't seen the movie, you can click away. Yeah, that's your warning. So if you're still here, I'm assuming that means that you've seen the movie. So let's talk about the ending of the movie. I loved it. I loved the ending of this movie. And you know how easily it could have gone sideways to CGIing Harold Ramis's ghost into the... Do you have any idea how easily that could have gone completely, totally wrong and been almost found distasteful? But they did it perfectly. They really, really, really pulled that off. When the Ghostbusters came and Bill Murray, sorry, I had a brain fart, starts cracking all these jokes. He just steps right back into that role, and he's great, and Dan Aykroyd's great, and Ernie Hudson is great, and I'm just sitting here thinking, why couldn't this have been the whole movie? Like, come on! This is what the movie should have been! Oh, man, it just feels like such a missed opportunity. Because even I know Bill Murray was hesitant to come back for this, but he read the script and he really liked it, so he came back. But I just keep thinking how much better this movie could have been if it was about the Ghostbusters. But anyway, so the ending was really cool. I loved how she was like, Zool was like, "Are you a god?" And then Bill Murray's like, "Ray." And this time he says yes. I like that. That was a good fan service moment. It was used appropriately. I really liked it. Harold Ramis being there. I've never cried while watching a movie before, but sometimes I'll see something that just makes me feel pretty emotional, and it did. It really did. My girlfriend was crying, and I don't blame her. It was handled so well. So well, and he looks so seamless too. Like they really pulled off that CGI. It was great. I loved the ending. I loved it. I loved everything about it. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And it meant a lot to me. See, I wouldn't rewatch this movie a lot, but you know what I would rewatch a lot? The ending of this movie on YouTube. I would rewatch that a lot. That was great. That was really it was everything I needed. Except for the whole movie being about the Ghostbusters. But other than that, it was everything I needed. So I loved it. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Power Player Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. Leave reviews, suggestions, and comments down below. I really need to stop saying that. No one ever does. And anyways, follow me on Instagram at Power Player Entertainment for channel updates and much love.